Hello listeners and welcome to Boomerang. This is Team 4 bringing you the news from the West Lothian Courier, with permission, published on Thursday the 26th of February 2026. And our readers today are Jackie, Joan, Kate and Joyce, and Harry is our recorder and copier as usual. Our broadcast will be in 4 parts. Part 1 will be general news. Part 2 will include family announcements. Part 3 will have more general news items and the quiz. And in Part 4, we will include the answers to the quiz and some news about local sport, but there is very little about that subject in the paper this week. Our annual general meeting will take place soon, so I'll read out an invitation for you all. The annual general meeting for West Lothian Boomerang Talking Newspaper will be held on Saturday 14th of March 2026 at 10:30 a.m. until approximately 12:30 p.m. in St Joseph's Church Centre, Rayburn Crescent, Whitburn, EH47 8HQ, and you are cordially invited to come along. Our main speaker this year will be Jennifer Howard-Coombs, Chief Executive, Amman Valley Heritage Trust. And after the business part of the meeting is over, refreshments will be served. Please let Heather or Joyce know if you can attend. If you would like to attend and are bringing someone with you, or if you require transport, please inform Heather Smart by calling 07707 830 634, or you can put a note in your next wallet and return it to the studio. Can I remind you that when you have finished with the recording, please put the memory stick back into the blue wallet, turn over the address label and post it back to us here in Whitburn from a postbox and not the post office. So, now let's get started with the lead story this week and Kate.
Residents to be hit with a 7.4% council tax increase by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian Council will impose a council tax rise of 7.4% from April. The minority Labour-led administration pushed through its budget by 2 votes. The SNP branded the plans as cut-based budget lacking vision. The opposition produced and proposed a budget which includes 7.9% council tax rise, a feasibility study focusing on independent management of community centres and more funding for the third sector. Labour dropped its original plan for an 8.4% rise and instead instructed officers to take $1 million from a reserve fund to meet increased spending on social care services for adults and older people and a dedicated pothole and road repair team. Over $636 million will be spent on delivering day-to-day local services for local residents in the next financial year, 26 to 27. Proposed changes to funding West Lothian places for children from outside the county affect 104 children, but brought emotional pleas at the start of the 4-hour-long budget meeting from parent and private nursery providers. They questioned the proposed saving of $700,000 and said that similar moves by Edinburgh Council faced legal challenge, and it has been revealed had not realised anything like the savings expected. The plans effectively remove funding follows the child choice for parents out with West Lothian, offering only places as council nurseries rather than the private providers. It could face legal challenge, said the private providers. Other educational changes include the consolidation of some educational services, with mainstream education including closure of the Burnhouse School and its replacement with a programme developed for youngsters delivered through mainstream schools. Households will face a maximum of £30 charge for a replacement 240-litre bin, even if theirs has been stolen. Bins will only be provided free of charge where they are lost in collection vehicles. Currently, the Council does not charge for the 9,500 bins which are replaced each year. Leaders of West Lothian Council, Lawrence Fitzpatrick, said, "We have to set a balanced budget each year, and this ensures that we can continue to provide local services to our community. There is a huge growing demand on the Council's budget. We have a combination of increasing demand for services and higher costs of delivering the services. However, our funding is not keeping up with the costs, which means setting a budget is extremely complex and challenging. If we spend money on one service, it can't be spent on another service. Setting the budget is as simple and as complex as that. The more funding we can raise, the more funding we have to spend on local services. But we fully recognise there is a balance. Councils across Scotland are reportedly looking at double-figure increases in council tax. The SNP group leader Councillor Janet Campbell said, "The reason we are proposing the rise of 7.9% today is entirely caused by Labour Party decisions, financial mismanagement seen again today, and incompetence seen in West Lothian and at Westminster level." The Labour Party in the Scottish Parliament made absolutely no proposals in Holyrood to increase the funding for councils in the Scottish budget. Announcing the opposition plans, SNP councillors proposed an uplift to voluntary organisations, recognising the essential role they play in supporting residents across West Lothian. Councillor Campbell said the uplift was a vital investment in the groups that hold our communities together and deliver support the council could simply not replace. The SNP group is also bringing forward a feasibility study to explore establishing an appropriate third sector organisation to operate community centres. A further feasibility study proposed to examine the potential for a district heating system, including geothermal energy opportunities, to reduce energy costs for households, businesses and the council. The SNP group slated Labour for its failure to act on opposition calls to implement decriminalising parking enforcement when first raised by the opposition in 2019.
Police issue appeal. Police Scotland are currently investigating a string of housebreakings in West Lothian and the Forth Valley area. Officers are probing a total of 4 break-ins, one of which took place in Livingston in the early hours of Tuesday, February 17th. At around 2:25 a.m, police received their first report of a break-in to a premises on Stirling Road, Tullibody. A short time later, a further report of a break-in was received at a premises on Alloa Road, Causeway Head, Stirling. Then at around 3 a.m, another break-in was reported at a premises on Sylvan Heights, Cotton Lane, Lauriston. And at around 4 a.m, police received a report of another break-in at a premises on Jackson Place in Livingston. The authorities believe these 4 incidents are linked and are treating them as such. Detective Sergeant Hannah Aitchison said, "These incidents are being treated as linked and our inquiries are ongoing to trace those responsible." At the location and time of each incident, a white Skoda Octavia and 4 to 5 men dressed all in black were seen. This vehicle was last seen in the Stenhouse area of Edinburgh. Detective Sergeant Aitchison added, "I would ask anyone who was in these areas around the relevant times and who saw anything suspicious or who may have seen the white Skoda Octavia to contact police. I would also ask anyone with private CCTV, doorbell or dashcam footage to review it and get in touch if you have anything that could assist with our investigation."
Prostate Cancer Awareness Campaign. West Lothian Prostate Cancer Support Group. The serious prostate cancer diagnosis for Sir Chris Hoy highlighted the importance of getting men tested early and even earlier if they have a family history of prostate cancer. More men over 50, unfortunately, delay getting PSA tested and ignore symptoms, and this can decrease the chances of getting an all-clear diagnosis when it has shown that the outcomes with early diagnosis are very good. The PSA blood test helps first establish potential signs of prostate cancer, and we encourage men to get a PSA blood test that can be done very quickly with their surgery nurse, and if it is positive, a quick MRI scan will determine immediate or a staggered treatment programme. Our team will be outside Asda Livingston all day on Friday 6th March 2026, so come along and speak to guys with the wide range of prostate cancer experience to answer your questions. For more information, contact Duncan Wallace on 07772 844452 or Faither, that's Faither, at duncanwallace.co.uk, or Gordon Stewart on 01506 651 388.
Probe as terrain vehicle is stolen by Chloe Goodall. Police in West Lothian are investigating the theft of an all-terrain vehicle and trailer that was stolen from Bathgate. The vehicle was parked up outside a hotel on Starlaw Road in Bathgate on Tuesday, February the 17th, when it was taken at around 9:50 p.m. It is understood that the three men quickly exited a grey Isuzu picked up and stole both the all-terrain vehicle and its trailer before making their getaway. The vehicle used in this theft had the registration number NU22DNN. Police Scotland are now asking anyone with knowledge of the crime to come forward. Constable Callum Jackson is urging anyone with information to come forward immediately. He said, "This is a busy area. We would urge anyone who saw the theft take place or who has any information that will assist our investigation to contact us." Officers are checking CCTV footage from in and around the area and would ask anyone who saw anything suspicious or drivers with dashcam footage, please get in touch. Anyone with information should contact 101 quoting incident number 0167 on February the 18th, 2026, or call Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 11. And this is accompanied by a picture of the all-terrain vehicle, which looks a bit rugged, on the back of a trailer, and it's headed "Shock Theft." Police are appealing to the public for information.
3.5% rent rise for council tenants, and this is by Stuart Somerville. A £3 rent rise was agreed by West Lothian Council this week. The full council met on Thursday to debate plans for the housing revenue account budget for the next year. The minority Labour-led administration announced plans to put an extra £1 million into a programme to bring down the numbers of empty or void homes across the county. The rent rise will help balance the housing revenue account budget at just over £70 million for the next year. An amendment from the opposition SNP group calling for a further £150,000 to be channelled into tackling void numbers was defeated on a casting vote from Provost Labour's Cathy Muldoon. A rent increase of 3.5% for 2026/27 has been approved as part of the housing revenue account budget. It will see the average council house rent rise from £92.20 to £95.42 in April. For garages, the rental will rise from £6.59 to £6.83. A report to the full council added The eligible rent on which the housing benefit calculation is based will also go up by 3.5%, so those on full benefit will not suffer further financial detriment. The DWP landlord portal currently shows 7,652 council tenants in receipt of universal credit and or housing benefit, and those in receipt of full housing costs would be fully funded to meet the cost of the rent increase. This decision, following consultation with the tenants, with the majority of those that responded expressing a preference for a 3.5% rent increase. All income generated via council housing rent is reinvested in council housing and services for tenants. Deputy SNP Group Leader Councillor Pauline Stafford, backing an amendment from the party's housing spokesman, Councillor Robert DeBold, told the meeting that the £150,000 was a small figure, but one that would represent 30 families who, at the moment, sitting in hotel accommodation with all the mental and physical health impacts that brings. She added, "It is not just the cost of lost rent, but it is detrimental to our families in West Lothian. We should strive as much as we can to turn voids round as quickly as possible." Councillor Stafford slated Labour criticism at the lack of funding coming from the Scottish Government when Labour MSPs had made no amendments asking for more money for housing in the recent Scottish budget. Labour's Craig Meek turned his fire on the Scottish Government, suggesting plans for a new national housing agency would simply see more consultants getting paid large amounts of money. The Scottish Government has chosen to pursue centralisation instead of direct investment. The proposed national housing body, another Congo, will not build another single house in West Lothian. It won't repair a council roof in Faulthouse. It won't house anybody in temporary accommodation. What it will do is absorb government money into government structures and consultants. We have seen this model before in the failed National Care Service. Executive Councillor for Housing Services George Paul said, "Using the resources at its disposal, the Council looks to see continued investment and funding of housing infrastructure to meet the needs of existing and future tenants. The agreed rent increase was informed through consultation with tenants and will allow renewed investment in the Housing Capital Investment Programme. Every penny of rental income will allow the Council to continue to maintain quality standards and invest in the suitability and sufficiency of its housing stock to improve the environment within communities."
MP welcomes charity store to new premises, an article by Ross Thompson. Gregor Poynton MP has visited the newly opened homemade West Lothian store in Craigshill to meet staff and learn more about the charity's work supporting people moving from homelessness into stable homes. The new store, located at 44 Etive Walk, opened in January this year, following Homemade's move from Roxburn into Ammond housing premises in Craigshill. The relocation will allow the charity to expand its reach within Livingston and the wider West Lothian area. During the visit, Mr Poynton met with Homemade West Lothian CEO Willie Dunn and staff to discuss the charity's role in providing essential furniture and white goods to individuals and families on low incomes, including people who have experienced homelessness. Homemade has been operating in West Lothian for over 25 years and combines practical support for vulnerable residents with a strong environmental mission, recycling and redistributing donated furniture and household items back into the local community. Mr Poynton said, "Homemade does vital, practical work, and that changes lives, helping people move from homelessness into a place they can truly call home." The opening of this new store in Craigshill is a real boost for the Livingston constituency and West Lothian, strengthening local support networks and ensuring more people can access the essentials they need to rebuild their lives. West Lothian has a whole range of brilliant, hard-working charities like Home Aid, River Kids, the West Lothian Food Trust and the School Bank, all of which step in and support people where they're struggling. These organisations are absolutely central to tackling poverty and social exclusion in our local area. The visit also explored how Mr Poynton's constituency office and casework team can work more closely with Home Aid to refer residents in need of furniture and household support. Willie Dunn, CEO of Home Aid West Lothian, welcomed the visit and highlighted the importance of strong links between charities and elected representatives in addressing housing insecurity and poverty. Home Aid also operates retail outlets in Bathgate, including its Wee Shop for smaller household items and its furniture store for larger items such as sofas, beds and white goods. Donations are collected by the charity's own vans and deliveries are made free of charge. And there's a photo of Gregor Poynton, and I presume one person on one side of him is the CEO and on the other side of him is a member of staff.
Assault on shopkeeper. West Lothian Police have launched an investigation after a Bathgate shopkeeper was assaulted during a robbery. The incident took place around 7:35 p.m. on Saturday, February the 21st on Phillip Avenue. A man entered the shop and assaulted a member of staff before demanding money from the till before leaving the shop and heading off in the direction of the Elm Road area. The staff member did not require medical attention. The man is described as white, aged between 35 and 40, around 5 foot 8 inches, of medium build with brown eyes. He was wearing a black jacket with a hood up, red tracksuit trousers and light brown boots and tried to conceal his face with a black face covering. Detective Tony Gilhooly said, "We are carrying out significant inquiries, including reviewing CCTV, and I am asking anyone who has or was in the area around the time of the incident and who may have seen the suspect to contact us. I would ask drivers to please check their dashcam footage as it would assist our investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call Police Scotland via 101, quoting incident number 2835 of Saturday, 21st February 2026. Alternatively, you can contact Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
We have now come to the end of part 1, and in part 2, family announcements will be included. Welcome to part 2, and we will begin with the family announcements. And today there are 2 deaths. Cameron, Ronald, known as Ronnie, passed away peacefully on 13th of February at St John's Hospital. Beloved husband of the late Gladys, much-loved dad of Tracy, Denise and Alan, adored granda of Emily, Morgan and Jake, and doting great-granda of Lila. A funeral service will be held on Monday the 2nd of March at 10 a.m. at Livingston Crematorium, to which all are welcome to attend. Family flowers only, please. The family would like to thank everyone for their cards and support during this sad time. Richie, Irene. Irene passed away after a short illness on the 16th of February in Ward 21 of St John's Hospital. The family would like to thank all staff of Ward 21 for the kindness shown to Irene during this difficult time, and to all other staff who cared for her in St John's. A special mention to all family, friends and neighbours who made things easier in her last few days. Thanks also for all the cards and kind thoughts. Irene was a well-loved wife, auntie and good friend to many, and has left us all the better for knowing her. Rest in peace, Irene. Taken too soon, you still had a lot of living to do. That brings us to the end of the family announcements for this week, so now we will continue with the general news and Jackie.
Thank you. Carer gets warning from regulator after incident. A carer has given a warning by the Scottish Social Services Council, SSSC, after she left a woman in pain by failing to disclose that she had fallen. Lorna Devlin from Livingston was working at a Randolph Hill nursing home in Edinburgh when she failed to use the proper moving and handling procedures to move a resident. The SSSC issued the warning following an investigation which found evidence Devlin did not check the sling was properly attached to the stand aid she was using to move the resident, causing her to fall. They also found Devlin did not inform the nurse in charge at the time of the fall and then gave a false statement regarding the incident. In a report detailing their decision, they added Devlin failed to acknowledge the dishonesty of her actions and caused both physical and emotional harm to a vulnerable person by not disclosing the incident immediately. They wrote, "Social service workers are expected to follow practice and procedures and not put other people at risk of unnecessary harm. You failed to follow moving and handling procedures and did not check the sling on the stand aid before moving resident AA, which caused her to fall. AA is a vulnerable resident who requires support for her mobility, and she reported the fall to support staff the day after the incident. Social service workers must also be honest and trustworthy. You failed to report AA's fall and provided a false statement to your employer relating to the circumstances around this. Your actions were dishonest and caused AA physical and emotional harm as she was left for a number of days with pain to her hand before receiving medical support. By failing to tell your employer about the incident, you failed to promote AA's well-being." They did acknowledge Devlin cooperated with the SSSC's investigation into the incident, has a good previous history, and provided 2 references in support of her positive practice, all of which worked in her favour. The report continued, "After referring to our decision's guidance, we decided the appropriate sanction is to place a warning on your registration for a period of 3 years and the conditions set out below. Devlin must now inform their employer of the SSC's decision and undertake training on moving and handling, their employer's policies and procedures on reporting accidents and injuries, adult care and protection, and health and social care standards."
Fundraiser to help crash victim Sean's family, article by Stephen Bark. A fundraiser to support the young family of a dad who was killed in a bicycle crash on Valentine's Day has raised more than £3,000. Dad of 2, Sean Riley, 34, was killed in a collision with a van on Main Street, East Whitburn on February 14th. Sean had come off his bike shortly after 6 a.m. and was standing at the side of the road before he was struck by a white Vauxhall van. A fundraiser has now been launched in Sean's memory in the hope that it will allow his family to give him the send-off he deserves. Organised by Mary Belford, the fundraiser paid tribute to Sean. On GoFundMe, she wrote, "Sean was a loving husband and a dad of 2 beautiful young boys. He was sadly killed in an accident on his way to work on Valentine's Day morning. Sean was only 34 years old. His life was taken from him far too soon. We are hoping to raise some money to help his wife and kids give him the send-off he deserves. Any donations would be kindly appreciated." Police taped off the road following the early hour crash and photos taken from the scene showed a large cordon in place and multiple police vehicles in attendance. In an appeal for information launched after the crash, Sergeant Fraser Mitchell said, "Our thoughts are with the family and friends of the man who died in this crash. Inquiries are ongoing to establish the full circumstances of what happened, and I am appealing to anyone who has information to come forward. If anyone saw the white Vauxhall van or a cyclist on or off a black pedal cycle in the area around the time of the collision, please contact us. I I would also urge anyone who has dash cam or personal footage to please review it and get in touch if there is anything that may be relevant to our investigation. Anyone with information should call 101, quoting incident 0681 of Saturday, February 14th. To view the fundraiser, visit https://www.gofundme.com/f/Sean, that's SHAUN Rileys, REILLYS.
Councillor has worry over service by Stuart Somerville. West Lothian councillors have backed the introduction of service standards governing cleaner streets. But one councillor fears the new standards will be used to generate income through fines on shopkeepers. Tackling commercial waste bins sitting on pavements is a key element to the new plans, but some shopkeepers believe they will face fines while they have no control over when commercial waste operation lift their bins. Sally Patel, Lib Dem for Linlithgow, who runs a bookshop in the town, raised an amendment calling for consultation with traders across West Lothian before introducing the new rules. No official consultation with the business community has been carried out, Councillor Patel told a meeting of the council's executive. She said traders feared that the council would start enforcement with traders facing fines over collection times they could not control with commercial operators. Interim Nets Land and Countryside Manager Victoria Mungle stressed that the council saw enforcement as a last resort, adding the council wanted to work with traders and the commercial refuse operators to improve services. Councillor Patel told the local Democracy Reporting Service, LDRS, that budget proposals to be decided next week indicated increasing the council's income through enforcement fines. Fellow Linlithgow councillor Pauline Orr pointed out that many shops in Lithgow had difficulty storing bins and asked how officers could reasonably enforce new rules. Ms Mungle told the meeting, "It's important to note that by bringing in the service standards, there's no change to the legislative powers that we currently hold, so at the moment we do not find bins that cause obstructions under the Section 56 of the Roads Scotland Act. It's important to note that our intentions of bringing standards forwards does not change. It is not intended that we penalise businesses for situations where a bin has been left out over collection time or there's a storage issue that become apparent. What we intend to do is work with businesses to determine a better place for them to have their waste collected and to offer support on how we can work to better have their waste collected." Linlithgow's Labour councillor Tom Conn suggested adopting Councillor Patel's amendment that would leave the council without any of his existing powers of enforcement. The amendment gained the support of only 2 Conservative councillors on the executive. The SNP's 3 members of the committee, including Councillor Orr, abstained. Apart from the concerns about the potential enforcement from commercial waste collection problems, there was a broad welcome across the chamber for the pledge to improve services. Ms Mungle told the meeting the plan places particular emphasis on education, behaviour change, enforcement and community ownership. She added, "This will be supported by improving monitoring so we can better understand trends and target resources where they have the greatest impact." The introduction of new service standards within its Cleaner Communities team, as well as a new Litter Prevention Action Plan, LPAP, for 26-27. The standards set out how the council will work to tackle environmental issues such as littering, fly tipping, graffiti, dog fouling and more through a combination of education, enhanced infrastructure, community engagement and more stringently enforcement, including the use of more mobile CCTV to track hotspots for fly tipping and streamlining of existing technologies. A council spokesperson told the LDRS the introduction of new service standards for both proactive and responsive work, appointment of an external contractor and modernisation of the Urban Clean team is expected to lead further progress in the future. And this piece goes along with a picture of Sally Patel in her bookstore saying shop concerns, and it's a picture of her with all her books in the background.
Worker Threats by Lee Dalgetty. A West Lothian man entered a shop in Whitburn and threatened a staff member before making off with a three-figure sum. The man entered a premises on Bailey Street on Wednesday morning at around 5 a.m. He threatened the worker with a bladed weapon. The male staff member was not injured. The suspect is described as white, of slim build, and was wearing blue joggers, a blue and orange jacket and trainers. Detective Constable Chris Watson said, "This was a frightening incident for the staff member involved, and it is vital we trace the man responsible. I am appealing to anyone who was in the area at the time and saw a man of that description or knows who it may be to contact officers. I'd also appeal to those in the area who have dash cam footage or private CCTV to review this. Anyone with information is asked to contact police on 101, quoting incident number 0444 of 18th February 2026.
Article is headed, Payment is Making Big Difference. The families of 12,105 children across West Lothian are benefiting from Scottish Child Payment, a payment only available in Scotland and already proven to help reduce child poverty. Scottish Child Payment provides families with £27.15 a week, rising to £28.20 from April 2026 for every eligible child under 16. It can help with buying essentials such as food and clothing, as well as activities to support children's health and well-being. And more help is on the way. An increase to Scottish Child Payment to £40 a week for children under 1 will be introduced during 27-28. This boost is estimated to benefit around 12,000 children across Scotland and could be worth an extra £500 a year for each eligible child. Social Justice Secretary Shirley Ann Somerville said, Scottish Child Payment forms part of the best cost of living support package in the UK. It has helped ease the pressure on thousands of family budgets and is playing a key role in ensuring Scotland is the only part of the UK to see relative poverty rates fall. Scottish Child Payment and our other family payments could be worth around £25,000 by a child's 16th birthday, compared with less than £2,000 in England and Wales, where support ends at age 4. Our package of family support demonstrates the Scottish Government's ongoing commitment to eradicating child poverty and providing children in Scotland with the best start in life. Campaigner and mum of 2 girls, Angie Bird, comments on her own experience receiving Scottish Child Payment. She added, As a single parent, Scottish Child Payment is making a real difference to my family. It means I can afford opportunities that would otherwise be a struggle to pay for, like gymnastics for my youngest and the local water sports for my eldest daughter. The skills my children are gaining from these activities are helping to broaden their horizons beyond our day-to-day life to give them the chance they deserve. What I value most is that the financial support gives families like mine the opportunity to choose what will benefit our children rather than being limited to a set list of services. It's a boost that helps us remove financial obstacles to make our lives better.
MP hails work of care home staff after visit. Linlithgow Care Home in West Lothian welcomed Bathgate and Linlithgow MP Kirsten Sullivan for a visit celebrating the home's vital place in the heart of the local community. During her visit, Ms Sullivan toured the 80-bed home, which provides both nursing and nursing dementia care. She spent time chatting with residents and colleagues while exploring the home's inviting spaces, including a cafe, tea room, hobby room, hair salon, kitchenette, nail bar, ensuite bedrooms, bright lounges, social dining areas and tranquil garden. Gemma Monroe, home manager at Linlithgow Care Home, said, "It was a real pleasure to host Kirsten Sullivan MP and share the wonderful sense of community that makes Linlithgow so special. Our team works tirelessly to ensure residents receive not just high-quality care, but genuine companionship and joy in everyday life." Ms Sullivan added, "I was grateful for the opportunity to learn more about the high standards of support they provide to residents. It was particularly encouraging to hear about the wide range of activities on offer and the home's partnership with local organisations which help residents stay connected to their local community and active." And this piece goes along with a picture of both Gemma Monroe, home manager at Linlithgow Care Home, and Kirsten Sullivan posing for the cameras.
Extra Council Home Plan gets given go-ahead. Stuart Somerville. West Lothian will buy an extra 15 new council homes in its new capital budget for housing in the next year. This adds to the 20 homes brought back to council ownership through the buyback scheme. It's part of a £37.226 million spend planned in 2026/27, with a total earmarked of £65.738 million over the 2-year period to the end of 2028, agreed by the full council. That was on Thursday. The extra 15 homes can be built through savings in the energy efficiency budget. The savings identified would allow the purchase of these 3- and 4-bed family homes due for completion in spring and summer 2026. Some of the other proposed investment includes £10.3 million towards increasing the amount of new council homes. The council had already approved the delivery of 427 new houses. The programme will now deliver a further 35 additional new council houses, including new and buybacks. This will deliver an overall total of 462 new council houses over the course of the investment programme. A total of £19.3 million is planned to be invested to improve and maintain existing housing, ensuring council homes continue to meet the Scottish Housing Quality Standard, that's the SHQS works, include projects to deliver energy efficiency measures, central heating replacements, aids and adaptations, electrical repair and external wall insulation upgrades. Planned programme works of £42.2 million will take place, covering a broad range of activities including kitchens and bathroom replacements, window and door refurbishments, painting and fencing programmes. The SNP group did not oppose the paper. The Deputy Group Leader, Pauline Stafford, welcomed the commitment to set a team to enact AWAB's law to tackle dampness and mould in social housing. Council Leader Lawrence Fitzpatrick asked about the pressure on providing larger family homes and the costs of providing 4 or 5 bedroom homes, which are now in greater demand. Marjorie Mackey, House Strategy Manager, told a meeting of the full council, "In terms of the demand profile, 4 and 5 bedrooms are the properties we have less numbers of. We try to ensure there's a mix of houses we build. In terms of costs, the average cost of a house is £220,000. If we have only larger units, the cost would be slightly more per house and slightly less for smaller 1 or 2 bedroom units, but we average out cost in terms of site. Executive Councillor for Housing George Paul said, "Good progress has been made in delivering the West Lothian Affordable Housing Programme, with 1,386 units completed to the end of last year. The proposed Housing Capital Investment Programme includes a further 35 new council homes delivered within budget with an additional £10 million. This will deliver an overall total of 462 new council homes over a 5-year investment to 2027/28. These measures will increase the availability of social housing."
Drugs worth £16,000 found in car. A West Lothian woman has been arrested after police found drugs worth £16,000 in a parked car. Police were acting on intelligence when they searched that vehicle parked on Blackburn Road. Officers found heroin and cocaine as well as a 4-figure sum of cash at around 1:50 p.m. on Wednesday, February 18th. A 45-year-old woman was charged in connection with the incident. Detective Inspector John Irvin said, "This recovery highlights our commitment to tackling the supply of drugs in our local communities."
We have now come to the end of part 2, and in part 3 we will begin with the quiz. Welcome to part 3, and we will start with this week's quiz. Quite straightforward this week, I think. Question 1. In which Scottish city is St Johnstone Football Club based? Is it Glasgow, Perth or Dundee? Question 2. In 1959, what became the 50th state of the United States of America? Was it Hawaii, New Mexico or Alaska? Question 3. Who starred as Colonel Jim Bowie in the 1960 film The Alamo? Was it Richard Widmark? Was it John Wayne? Or was it Frankie Avalon? Question 4. The Californian city of San Diego is located on the coast of which ocean? Is it the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, or Indian Ocean? Question 5. In which English city was the TV series Shoestring set? Oh, that takes you back. Shoestring was set in Bristol, Manchester, or Newcastle. And question 6. Which country does the dish paella come from? Is it Spain, Portugal, or Turkey? Good luck with those questions. I'll tell you the answers in the next section. So now we will continue with news from the Courier and Kate.
Volunteer and Make a Difference to Patients by Ross Thompson. NHS Lothian is now accepting applications for volunteers to join its team at St John's Hospital in Livingston. New volunteers of all ages will join a team of over 100 at the hospital who support patients through a variety of roles including ward helpers, ward visitors, welcome guides, meaningful activity volunteers, outpatient department assistant volunteers, volunteer drivers for Marie Curie, therapet visiting support volunteers and more. Agnes Ritchie, Associate Nurse Director in St John's, said, "Volunteers are a valued part of St John's team. They provide incredible support to both staff and patients, making a difference to people's lives through their daily acts of kindness, care and compassion." Claire Garton, Voluntary Services Manager at West Lothian, said, "Volunteering offers a chance to build your skills, knowledge and experience while also giving back to your community. Our volunteers always tell us their roles are fulfilling and they make great friends along the way. We are looking for volunteers from many ages and backgrounds and look forward to welcoming you to St John's team. Ola Owilyemi, who is originally from Nigeria, moved to the UK in 2023 and started volunteering as a ward helper in St John's. She said, "I became a volunteer because I wanted to learn more and gain experience in the healthcare. NHS Lothian felt like the right place to start because of its strong values and commitment to patient care. Volunteering has helped me grow in confidence and strengthen my communications and teamwork skills. I am proud to play a small part in supporting patient recovery." Joe Bainbridge from West Lothian has been in post as a ward visitor volunteer since June 2023, alongside his full-time role. He said, "I came into the role wanting to help others, but I didn't expect how much it would change me. Sitting at the bedside of patients from all walks of life has fostered a deep sense of empathy, patience, and gratitude. Each conversation, whether light-hearted or deeply personal, serves as a reminder of the importance of human connection. To find out more about volunteering opportunities available across West Lothian, visit nhslothian.scot/get-involved/volunteering/volunteering-opportunities. The recruitment drive is now open and will close on Monday, March the 9th. For an informal chat and to find more, contact Claire Garton, Voluntary Services Manager at St John's Hospital on 01506 523 588. And this has actually got a nice picture of St John's Hospital and some lovely bushes flourishing, making it a really nice picture. And it's also got two pictures of volunteers, and one is Olwa, and she has put growing in confidence, and the other person is Joe Bainbridge, and he is saying it's the human connection that makes the difference.
Nursery aims to support kids with story time. Children's love of reading has fallen to an all-time low in 20 years, but at Busy Bees Nursery in Livingston, children are proving that the magic of story time is far from lost. More than 130 children are joining the Get the Reading Buzz pledge, a nationwide initiative launched by Busy Bees, the UK's leading early years education provider, which aims to read over 45 million books with children this year. The pledge brings together more than 350 Busy Bees nurseries and over 37,000 children across the UK, all aspiring to enjoy at least 4 books a day. Reclaiming story time as a joyful experience that fosters a love of reading from the very beginning. Families are invited to join in, rediscovering the enjoyment of reading at home together with helping children to reach this monumentous milestone. The initiative comes at a critical moment. Recent figures show that just 1 in 3 children enjoy reading in their free time, and fewer than 1 in 5 read daily. Alarmingly, 1 in 10 children do not own a book, and only half of 50.5% of parents now read with their child each day, down from 2/3, 66.1% in 2019. Jenny Shaw, academic lead researcher and developer at Busy Bees, said, "Every day in our Livingston nursery, we see how a simple story can capture a child's curiosity. Reading is more than just a moment. It's a spark that ignites imagination, supports early language development, builds confidence, and deepens connections between parent and child." These figures highlight a concerning national trend, and we know that to reverse it, we must ignite that reading spark long before a child reaches primary school. Our nurseries are dedicated to creating daily opportunities for children to enjoy stories. Through our Be Curious curriculum, we aim to nurture a love of stories, ensuring literacy isn't just a skill children acquire, but a passion they keep. We understand that many families are juggling busy schedules, and we are committed to helping families enjoy reading again and recognise the lasting impact it can have on their child's academic journey. We are inviting families and carers to join in and rediscover the joy of reading at home. Even just 5 or 10 minutes of reading together can spark a love of reading, nurture the bond between parent and child, and support children's emotional well-being. And there's a photograph here of two wee ones, a wee boy, a wee girl. The wee boy's got a checked top on and a pair of nice jeans. And the wee girl, she's got leggings and a nice white top on. And they're sitting beside one of the nursery workers who's reading to them. And their wee faces are just absolutely aglow at what's going on. It's just a lovely picture.
Stevie's widow never forgets after MND fight. Article by Billy Gaddy. The widow of a lifelong Hearts fan who died after a battle with motor neuron disease, MND, has said she is honouring his memory by helping others cherish the memories that football can give. Mary Morris, 65, lost her husband Stevie in December 2024 after he was diagnosed with MND in 2021. Mr. Morris continued attending matches at Tynecastle for as long as possible, and in 2022 fulfilled a lifelong dream by leading out the Hearts team at the Scottish Cup final at Hampden Park. After his death, Mrs. Morris from Mid-Calder began volunteering with the club's Memories group. The group has been delivered by the Big Hearts Community Trust, the club's official charity, for more than a decade. Described on the charity's website as a reminiscence programme, the weekly group helps older people recall fond memories through archived images, football memorabilia and themed discussions. The group is open to people aged 60 and over and particularly welcomes those living with dementia, stroke survivors, care home residents and those at risk of loneliness. Miss Morris explained her motivations for getting involved. Hearts gave Stevie his life right to the end, she said. I truly believe football kept him going. When he led the team out at Hampden, it felt like he'd been given every Christmas and birthday all at once. That was the proudest day of his life. As his illness got worse, the club made sure he could still get to games. They looked after him and they looked after us as a family. Even when he couldn't travel to away matches, they made sure he had the match programme and could follow along at home. They never forgot him. Now I want to help other people cherish the memories that football can give. Miss Morris said that the group also helped her father-in-law, Les Morris, who's 90, by providing him with somewhere safe to talk about Stevie and to share stories with other people who understood. Losing a son at any age is horrible, she said. This helps him remember all the incredible times they had through football. Mrs. Morris also reflected on how volunteering at the group had given her a renewed sense of purpose following the death of her husband. When you lose your partner, your whole life changes overnight, she said. Coming here, being part of the group, having a laugh and seeing the guys light up when they recognise a player or a match they remember means everything. The Big Hearts Memories programme is funded through a range of partners including Age Scotland, the Ellen and Graham Foundation and impact funding partners, with fundraising for Big Hearts Day helping to ensure the sessions can continue. In the run-up to Big Hearts Day, the charity's biggest annual fundraising event on Saturday, Mrs. Morris urged people to donate to the charity if they can. I know money is tight for everyone just now, but even a small donation helps keep these sessions running and helps people feel less alone, she said. This place means the world to people. It meant the world to Stevie. Now it means the world to me. One of the gentlemen said to me, I never thought I'd be able to dance again. That stayed with me. If we can give someone that feeling, even for a few minutes, it's worth it. Loneliness can make people go downhill very quickly. Here they sit around a table, look at photos and talk about matches. their jobs and their families. The 10th Big Hearts Day was held on February 21st during Hearts versus Falkirk at Tynecastle, and there's a lovely photo of Stevie with his son Craig. They're on a yacht, they're both wearing matching t-shirts with MND on them, and there's also a heart logo on the t-shirt, and Craig's wearing a matching hat and sunglasses.
Bishop plea as campaign launched by Ross Thompson. A bishop is urging people in West Lothian to back Skiaf's Wee Box campaign to give people around the world access to clean water and other life essentials. Bishop Brian McGee is Skiaf's bishop president and cares deeply about poverty and injustice around the world. He said, "Fortunately, most of us don't have to climb a hill to brush our teeth in the morning. This year, our Wee Box appeal focuses on just that. In Scotland, we are blessed with some of the finest water in the world. We bathe in it, use it for cooking, and drink as much as we want whenever we want. We take it for granted that it will always be there. Water is life. But for many, it's dangerously scarce. In Ethiopia, far too many women, girls and boys still have to walk for hours every day under the scorching sun. This means missed days at school, getting sick from dirty water, and in some places taking their lives in their hands just to reach the water. Getting that big sink up the hill was a struggle. It weighed a ton and it was blown a hoolie. But I just did it once. It's nothing compared to the daily struggle many have to access clean water. Thanks to the generosity of people across West Lothian, Skiaf has been funding local organisations in Ethiopia to bring clean water and other life essentials to communities and help people lift themselves out of poverty. And we need their help again to continue to do this. Lent is 40 days of reflection, fasting and praying leading up to Easter. Each year, generous Scots up and down the country give up a favourite treat such as coffee, chocolate, wine or crisps during Lent and put the money they save into a Skiaf Wee Box. Supporters also hold fundraising events in their schools and parishes and take on personal challenges to raise money. They then donate whatever they raise to the Easter to provide a hand up to vulnerable communities worldwide struggling to survive due to hunger, poverty, conflict and the climate emergency. Bishop Brian added, "I have had the privilege of seeing firsthand the transformation work that our amazing Skiaf supporters are funding in Ethiopia. It is genuinely changing lives. Bringing clean water close to people's homes helps kids get to school and improves the health of the whole family. It's amazing the different basic life essentials can make to people's lives. We know that there are still so many people suffering in Ethiopia and across the world from extreme poverty. With support like this, we can reach more families and more communities and give them a hand up out of challenges they face. For more details on how to donate, please visit www.skiaf.org.uk/weebox. To donate £10, please text Skiaf to 70580. Text will cost £10 plus your standard network charge. And this is actually accompanied by, well, it's actually a picture of the bishop actually at the top of a hill or a mountain in Scotland with the loch behind him, with his sink and his towel, his toothbrush and the wee box.
Crematorium set to host Mother's Day event. West Lothian Crematorium is inviting anyone who is missing a mother or mother figure or parents bereaved of a child to visit to honour their loved ones and mark Mother's Day. The crematorium is opening the doors of its welcoming chapel on Saturday, March the 14th, between 10:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. for people to reflect on and remember the loved ones they have lost, while comforting music plays in the background. Visitors can write a message on a tag which can be placed on a memory tree and collect a commemorative rose which can then either be placed on a loved one's memorial within the crematorium's grounds or taken home. Additionally, personalised messages and tributes can be written on cards and put in the crematorium's white memorial postbox. West Lothian Crematorium is part of Westerly Group, one of the UK's largest independent owners and operators of crematoria and cemeteries, within 42 sites in England, Scotland and Wales, and which is trusted by more families than any other provider to deliver funerals for their loved ones. At Westerly's locations, all are set within beautiful landscape gardens of remembrance, which provide peaceful places for people to visit and reflect, while benefiting from exceptional care and support from its teams. Manager Carol Ray said, "Over the Mother's Day period, we are holding in our thoughts all those missing their mother, a mother figure, and a mothers who are bereaved of a child. We also know that the bereaved can take great comfort from posting messages to loved ones in our white memorial postbox, which helps them maintain a feeling of connection with those they have lost. The invitation is open to anyone to visit the crematorium in order to remember their loved ones during the Mother's Day period, whether or not there is a memorial to their mother or mother figure in the crematorium grounds, and regardless of where their funeral took place. Whether a loss is recent or from some time ago, they are equally welcome. If they are near to the crematorium around Mother's Day, anyone and everyone is welcome to visit for a peaceful period of reflection and remembrance." Carol added, "Mother's Day is one of those annual occasions when a loss can be felt more, and we want to ensure people know that they are very welcome to take comfort in paying tribute to their loved ones at our crematorium. For more information about Mother's Day or other events and the services available at West Lothian Crematorium, visit www.westlothiancrematorium.co.uk.
Jewellery business owner boosted by award. Linlithgow-based handmade jewellery brand Candy Co has been recognised at a Small Business Sunday #SBS event run by Dragon's Den star and retail entrepreneur Theo Pafitis. Founded and run by Gillian Hemmings from her home in Linlithgow, Candy Co was selected as one of Theo's weekly #SBS winners earlier this year. The awards, created by Theo in 2010, celebrates and supports small businesses across the UK, with over 4,000 winners to date. At the Birmingham event, Gillian was presented with her certificate by Theo in person and had the opportunity to connect with fellow small business owners from across the country. To mark the occasion, she also gifted Theo's wife a selection of her handmade jewellery pieces, designed and created at her dining table in Scotland. Gillian said, "Meeting Theo and receiving my certificate was such a proud moment. Running a small business on your own can feel quite isolating at times, so being part of the #SBS community and celebrating alongside other founders was really special. Everything I create is handmade from my home in Linlithgow, so to see my brand recognised at such a prestigious event and to personally hand Theo some of my jewellery felt amazing." Small Business Sunday was set up by Theo Pafitis to shine a spotlight on small businesses and give them access to a wider audience and ongoing support. Winners become part of the #SBS community, gain exposure across Theo's social media platforms, and are invited to attend the annual networking event. Speaking about the initiative, Theo Pafitis said, "We are thrilled to welcome new #SBS members every week and highlight just how important it is to support our small businesses here in the UK. My vision is that everyone who has ever won a #SBS retweet from me becomes part of a friendly club, like-minded individuals who can share successes and learnings. The website will also give a valuable profile to the winners chosen, and I wish Candy Co every success. And there's a photo with Gillian receiving her award from Theo.
And that story brings us to the end of part 3. And in part 4, some local sports news will be included. Welcome to part 4, and we will begin with the answers to the quiz. Question 1. In which Scottish city is St Johnstone Football Club based? It is based in Perth. Question 2. In 1959, what became the 50th state of the United States of America? It was Hawaii. Question 3. Who starred as Colonel Jim Bowie in the 1960 film The Alamo? That was Richard Widmark. I thought it was John Wayne, but that's not right. It would seem it's Richard Widmark. Question 4. The Californian city of San Diego is located on the coast of which ocean? It is the Pacific. Question 5. In which English city was the TV series Shoestring set? Oh, that's a while ago now. It was set in Bristol. And question 6. Which country does the dish paella come from? That was Spain. Now, I hope you did very well in that quiz today. And we shall continue now with Section 4 and some sports news and Kate.
Livingston Football Club latest. Beating Drop is not impossible. Nobly maintains survival hope after drawing with Rangers. Joel Nobly insists it is not impossible for Livingston to retain their Premiership status following their 2-2 draw with Rangers on Sunday. The 30-year-old striker had a spell at the West Lothian club from 2021 to 2024, and after a spell in China, playing with Wax Wugo and Shenzhen juniors, he returned to Livy on February 16th to try to help his old side avoid the drop. Nobly came off the bench in the second half with the home side leading 2-0 through goals from Brooklyn Kabongolo and Lewis Smith, while down to 10 men after Cristiano Montano was sent off around the hour mark. Later, goals from Emmanuel Fernandez and Mickey Moore in a frantic finale rescued a point for the visitors, leaving Marvin Bartley's men 8 points behind Kilmarnock with 10 games to go. Nobly said, obviously watching from the bench, I thought the boys did well to get a 2-0 lead against Rangers. It's a tough ask. It is an opportunity missed, but we've got to take the positives. The way the staff, the gaffer and all the boys since I have come in, everyone's still got a lot of belief that it's not impossible. There are still 10 games left now, so that 30 points and an 8-point gap now. So everyone's still got a lot of belief that we can do it. I haven't seen, obviously, all the games this season, but the way the boys played, I was like, the tables must be lying because I felt they were so good. But I was proud of them because they defended very well, and when we had the opportunity, we took it. And the performance until the red card, I feel like they were outstanding. Livy had to rely on French keeper Jerome Prior to make a string of super saves to keep Danny Rawls' side at bay. Then in stoppage time, the home side feared Rangers might get a penalty when Cammy Kerr upended Mickey Moore on the edge of the box. Nobly heaped praise on his goalie and revealed he was concerned when ref Ryan Lee held up the game for a VAR checking and added, Jerome was outstanding. It felt like he was playing in the FIFA, just flying about, saving everything. He deserves a lot of credit. Against top teams, you need your keeper to come through for you, and he did. He was top quality. At the end, any time a referee stands for about 20 minutes, you get worried. I couldn't really see it, but it was Cammy says he won the ball and I'm going to back my teammate. Nobly spent 18 months in China and has no regrets about leaving Scotland for the Far East in 2024. The big front man made his second Livy debut as a sub on Sunday, but has told new boss Bartley he's ready to continue from the start as the Lions gear up to host St Mirren on Saturday. He said, "It feels like I never left the field in China. Lifestyle was amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was a whole new experience, a totally different culture, and it was great to try new things. I'm back here to help the boys as much as possible. I feel I can help the team. I'm not the gaffer, but if he wants me to start on Saturday, I'll start. I'll be ready to go." And it's accompanied with a picture of the man himself, still believing, Livy striker Joe Nobly in action against Rangers.
Golf members help revamp superb course. How do you move a clubhouse to the middle of a golf course? Answer: create 2 loops of 9 holes. Stonehenge might have been easier to move, yet that is what Linlithgow Golf Club have done. Though in this case, the mountain has been brought to Mohammed. The clubhouse remains where it is, and the golf course has been moved to encompass it. The clubhouse is now in the middle of the golf course. Linlithgow Golf Club has cut the grass of tradition, out for 9 and back for 9, and God bless the 19th. That's a fairway on a narrow sandy links course with a halfway house for relief and refreshment. 18 holes remains the pre-eminent competitive format and is the mainstay at Linlithgow. However, the new World Handicap system enables both 18 and 9-hole formats. The club has altered 1 hole to create 2 loops of 9 holes without the need to demolish and rebuild the clubhouse. From a golfing perspective, this has allowed the creation of a new par 5 dogleg from a superb new tee using the contours and natural hazards of the course to better effect. And there's a photograph with this, and under a bright, cloudless blue sky, there they are, the Linlithgow Golf Club members, 5 of them, standing in front of earth-moving equipment. There's a barrow filled with, looks like earth anyway. Beautiful trees round about and green grass too. They're all looking very happy at their very hard work. And here's another article, which I nearly forgot to read, but here it goes. Wright's Woe, it's called. Livingston darts star Peter Wright's woeful run continued last week as he dropped out of the top 32 in the rankings. Snakebite. Lost 6-4 to world number 82 Thomas Lovely at Players' Championship 4 to suffer a first-round exit, and that saw him slip to 33rd place. It's the first time since 2011 that 55-year-old Wright, and there's a picture of him, has fallen out of the top 32 on the PDC Order of Merit. The latest defeat was also his 4th consecutive first-round exit. And there's the photograph, and poor Peter Wright is looking a wee bit down. But I've noticed that he's changed his hair colour, whereas before his Mohican was a nice green colour, it's now a very nice purple colour.
Brock's End B team hoodoo at Hearts. Broxburn boss John Miller heaped praise on his players after his side ended a B team hoodoo in the Lowland League. The Alban Park side had gone 7 games without a win against either Celtic B or Hearts B, but on Friday night, Brox edged out the young Jambos with a 1-0 win at Ainsley Park. Scott McCrory Irvin's 81st minute strike was the difference, and Miller insisted it should have been more. He said, "At the 8th attempt we have managed to beat a B team, and a 1-0 was probably the least we deserved. I felt we were pretty dominant and our work rate off the ball was exceptional. The application was bang on about we should win the game more comfortably. We've had a goal ruled out for offside at a corner and there was a Hearts player on the post, which is quite hard to believe, but there you go. The goal that wins the game from Scotty is magnificent, but it is almost unfair to pick out an individual because as a collective we were just so good tonight. The boys were faultless from start to finish. Brox are 4th in the table and host Tranent on Saturday."
Vehicle is driven into wall. A house has been heavily damaged after a pickup truck was deliberately driven into a wall. Police were alerted to the horror scenes on Riddoch Hill Road in Blackburn at 1:05 a.m. on Wednesday, February the 18th. A white Nissan Navara was driven through the wall of a house, smashing directly into a bedroom, causing damage on either side. The vehicle was seen leaving the area immediately afterwards, alongside a silver Nissan Navara. Sergeant John Irvin said, "Our inquiries are ongoing to establish the full circumstances of this crash. I would ask anyone in the area during the early hours of Wednesday who may have witnessed what happened to get in touch. Anyone with information should contact police on 101, quoting incident 0121 of 18th of February.
Discover the Linburn Centre, a lifeline for veterans with visual impairment. Sight Scotland Veterans has given me the courage to start living again. That's a quote from John Barber, who lives with macular degeneration and attends the Linburn Centre regularly. Describes the help and support provided by Sight Scotland Veterans as life-changing. John comments, "When my wife died, I was extremely lonely and isolated. I just didn't know what to do. I had lost all my confidence and spent 2 years barely leaving my house, staring at the walls 24 hours a day, but Sight Scotland Veterans has changed my life. I feel like a different person now, even though I still have hard days. Knowing there are people who genuinely care about you makes all the difference. My first visit to the Linburn Centre was the first time I'd left my house in years, and it was an incredible experience. The centre is fantastic, and seeing all the ways they support everyone is so impressive. The friendships and support I've gained from Sight Scotland Veterans has given me the courage to start living again. Sight Scotland Veterans Linburn Centre in West Lothian is a true lifeline for local veterans living with visual impairment. Our dedicated team works tirelessly to combat isolation, boost confidence and enhance mental well-being. Every day the centre is alive with activity, from woodwork and arts and crafts to IT skills, archery and acoustic shooting. There's something for everyone. And it's not just about activities. We also provide practical support through drop-in sessions with rehabilitation specialists and financial well-being advisors, ensuring veterans have access to the help they need. And there's a few photographs here. There's a photograph of John Barber himself sitting there, and he's got a nice smile and wearing a sort of royal blue jumper, white shirt and a tie, and he's got a lanyard with his a little badge with his name on it. And below that, there's showing you the gym with people using the equipment. Another gentleman, this is evidently what they call now the acoustic shooting, and he's got his, for a want of a better word, his rifle lined up and shooting. And then there's a photograph of the actual centre itself. A low-level building set in beautiful manicured gardens, lovely path leading up to it with lights round to show the pathway. It's looks beautiful.
Sky finds couple in vintage wedding film. West Lothian woman reunites them with footage. An article by Nicholas Mazzalia. A West Lothian woman who discovered vintage wedding footage in a local charity shop miraculously tracked down the original owners in Canada over 40 years after the nuptials took place. Sky Watson of Whitburn came across a classic Super 8 projector several years ago. Upon developing the film, she was delighted to discover it captured a couple's happy days from the 1980s. She set out to reunite the pair with the long-lost footage. Through internet sleuthing and lucky connections on social media, Sky eventually identified the couple as Elaine and Walter Harvey. She located the pair's daughter, Karen, now 37, who moved with her parents from Whitburn to Canada in 2003. She revealed the pair were married on August 2nd, 1985, at a local Pentecostal church when Elaine was 21 and Walter was 22. Walter worked at Dean's Community High School in Livingston before the family decided to make a new start in North America. Elaine sadly passed away from cancer in 2017, and Karen told Edinburgh Live the memories in the footage were made even more meaningful. She said, "My dad's been watching it over and over again. The whole family is saying my mum was just so beautiful. After she died, my granddad used to always say he missed her smile so much. Watching it is a reminder of that smile." There's a part where the film goes back and seems like the video is over and it looks like a ghost is on the screen. But then she turns around and it's my mum. It feels like she's reminding us she's still there. The beautiful 8-minute-long reel chronicles the couple's wedding on a bygone summer day. It shows dozens of family members gathering outside the church, groomsmen in dapper suits, flower girls in pink dresses buffeted by gales of Scottish wind. Elaine wears a gorgeous white gown which Karen said was designed to resemble Glenda's billowy dress from The Wizard of Oz. Clips show Elaine and Walter sharing a kiss on the church steps. Karen added, "In a family things change, but it's this thing that's come back and brought us together. It's this reminder of where we came from and my mum. Before she died, she would say her fear we would all move on and forget her. It was making dinner when I got the message." The quote from Sky. "It was really shocking. I thought she was going to mail the footage, but she sent it right then, digitally. I watched it with my partner. We can't stop talking about it. We couldn't believe it happened." Sky first posted the footage in a local Facebook group, hoping someone might recognise the couple. Karen's best friend from primary school reached out to confirm whether the couple in the video were Elaine and Walter. Karen continued, "I hadn't heard from her in years. We had a quick chat and it was like, 'Isn't that your mum and dad?' It was amazing she recognised them. It reminded me where I'm from. We have old videos, but mostly from the period of me and my brother growing up. Even now we haven't been able to access because they're in VHS and we haven't bothered to digitise anything. We haven't seen any footage from our childhood in a long time, let alone from when my parents were young." And there's a couple of photographs, they're a bit blurred, but one shows Elaine and Walter on their wedding day. She's got a lovely dress on and looks like she's probably had an afro perm, and he looks like he's probably got a mullet. But he looks very smart as well, a carnation in his lapel. And the other photo shows a couple of flower girls and a bridesmaid, and they're obviously, as it said in the article, being buffeted by the wind because there's another lady in the photo holding onto her hat.
Real Ales from Across the Globe at Festival by Ross Thompson. A range of 15 real ales, including 5 from international brewers, will be available at the New Year Field in Livingston during its 12-day beer festival. The pub in Ammonvale Avenue will host the festival from March the 4th to the 15th inclusive. The overseas brewers are from Brazil, Italy, Mexico, Spain and USA. It is the first time that the Wetherspoons pub has served a real ale from Mexico. Almost all of the beers on offer have been brewed for the first time, exclusively for the festival. Among the festival collection are 3 vegan, also suitable for vegetarian, beers, as well as featuring a range of different malt and hop varieties from around the world. There are also beers that include coffee, elderflower, hibiscus, maple syrup, orange and vanilla in their ingredients. The beers will cost $2.20 a pint. Pub manager Nicola Loftus said, "The festival is a great celebration of real ale. It will allow us to showcase a selection of superb beers featuring many not previously available to our customers in the pub, including those from brewers as far afield as Mexico and Brazil, as well as those closer to home over a 12-day period. All of the beers will be available at great value for money prices. 3/3 of a pint tasters will also be available for the price of a pint. Tasting notes on all the beers will be available in the pub as part of the festival magazine. A digital version will also be available on the Wetherspoons app and website. All ales will be available to order at the bar or via the Wetherspoons app."
And that interesting story brings us to the end of our broadcast for this week, and we hope you found it enjoyable and informative. Please put your memory stick back into the blue wallet, change the address label, and remember to post it in a postbox. All that remains is to send you our very best wishes for the coming weeks, and until next time, take care. So it's cheerio from Team 4.